you are starting to feel resentful of your clients, it might be time to raise your prices. Hey, I'm Sandra and I help service providers make more money in their business through very strategic ways. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly when it's time to raise your prices and how to go about it, so make sure that you stick around to the end to find out exactly how I raise my prices also for existing clients. Now, there are several symptoms or signs that it's really time to raise your rates. So first of all, you might still love your work or you might still love what you do, but you're starting to feel some kind of resentment, right? A new booking comes in and instead of being excited, you're like, meh, I don't know about this. Like, meh, meh, meh. That is very often a sign that you either need rest or it's time to really increase your prices to reflect the kind of work that you do. Another symptom is that you have a wait list, and I've been in places for very frequently where it would take more than 3 months to work with me and I would just have a general wait list because I wasn't opening up spots that far in advance. So if you have a wait list or you're continuously booked out weeks, months in advance, it might also be time for a price increase. A much easier one to identify is if you've completed like additional training, certifications, gotten extra schooling, and just really improved the work that you do, your skill level, and the number of certifications or training that you bring to the table. It might also be time to increase the rate to a price that reflects that. Then I think there's a really simple one. If your clients keep telling you that you have changed their lives, their results are incredible, it might also be time to have a price increase. And I even have clients that tell me that, you know, their clients have told them they should charge more, and they keep not doing it. So that's another symptom. Like, if your clients keep telling you that you have to charge more, please listen to them, right? Listen, and it's time to raise that price. Finally, there's one very obvious, albeit a little bit annoying one, and that is that client want everything done ASAP. It's always on fire. They always need it now, tomorrow, yesterday, and your rates don't reflect that, or you don't use a super fast turnaround emergency rate for them, right? A rush fee, as you would say. And then it might also be time to either increase the price or actually implement having a rush fee and be like, hey, if you want it within X amount of time, 48 hours, a week, 2 weeks, here's the extra charge for that, and just normalize that, right? Because who has time to work for their clients today without any notice? Now, if you're sitting here and you're like, actually, those symptoms don't really apply, but something is telling me, or I know that it's time to raise my prices, or I haven't raised my rates in years, I need to sort this now, then that is a totally valid reason too. And here's 2 ways to actually make sure that your prices are always kind of on par and correct. And I'm gonna give you 2 choices here. So what you can do is you can either say that, hey, every X amount of clients, and I would suggest 3, maybe 5, maybe 10, depending on what you do and how much client work you take on, right? If they're super short projects, it might be that you wait for like 5 or 10. If you have longer term retainers or larger projects, you might raise your price every 3 clients that you book. But you just normalize that every X amount of clients, you review your prices and you increase your rates if it's necessary. The other thing you can do is to just add to your calendar or create a standard operating procedure that every 3 months you evaluate your rates and you increase them if necessary. And that, it just takes the thinking work out of it. It takes the, should I wait? Should I do it now? But it's almost January. Should I wait for January 1st? Do I wait for the next quarter? Or, it just says in your calendar every 3 months, boom, check the prices. Or, oh, 3 clients booked. Does the rate still reflect the level of work and my service is correct? And if hearing me say this gives you like very sweaty palms, do not worry. It's really not as scary as you think it is. I've raised my prices so many times over the last years and it's always been okay. So here's how you would go about it. Honestly, the easiest thing to do is just, you don't tell anyone, you just go to your website, you add the new price, you change it if you have a project management system somewhere or you have the packages live somewhere. You go in, you change it there too, so that the correct price is everywhere. And for new clients, that is just what it is. Problem solved, right? Now, alternatively, a strategy that I like to do, and that's also how I book out in advance, is that I will tell everyone like there's X amount of spots left or any projects booked in the next week or 2 will still be honored at the current price. And this is a really beautiful way to get anyone that was kind of thinking about it or on the fence to make that decision to hire you right now. Because if they wait a week or 2, it's going to be more expensive, right? So this is a really nice way that if you feel like, yes, it's time to increase my prices, but I'm also happy doing it for the current price, this can be a very good strategy to create a bunch of interest and book on a ton of clients in a short amount of time. Would be to do like a little, I call it a launch, but it's not really a launch, right? You send a couple emails, you share it on social media, and you just go out there and you be like, hey, the price for this is going up, there's X amount of spots left, or if you book this week, you can still get the current rate. Here's your next step. Now, if you've done this and created this sort of launch effect around your services, please let me know in the comments, because I would love to know how this has gone for you. Personally, this is one of my favorite things to do. I love that whole, hey, you know, that little launchy thing, that talking about your services publicly. So share your experiences. Now, what do you do about your existing clients? And this is especially relevant if you have clients that come back a lot, or if you have clients that you work with on retainer or very long term and they pay month to month or something like that. So I would say, you know, you can just email them and tell them these are the new prices effective then and then. Let me know if you have questions or concerns or whatever. And this very often, this is how I've always done it. And you know what? The only response I usually get is, yep, okay, thank you for letting me know. And that is it, right? So if you're worried about it, send the email. I swear nothing bad is going to happen to you. What I do like to do is make sure that I give some notice. So it's not a like, oh, hey, today's invoice is 25% more than the last one. Okay, thanks, bye, right? Like, you give some grace and you give some room. And then something else that if it feels good to you and if the price increase is, you know, not that significant or it's just a small adjustment, what I really like to do for long-term clients or people that I love to work with is give them a little bit of grace, or just let them know like, hey, the rates are going up to these amounts at this time, but because of our working relationship, I would love to offer you another month for another 2 months at our existing rate, right? Or they get the preferred client rate, or they get to stay at your old rate for a little bit longer. Make sure that this is not indefinitely though. Like, you do not want to end up in a place where your longest term client only pays half of your newer clients, right? So there needs to be a balance here, but it can be a really generous thing to do and a way to show appreciation for the client and the work that they bring you. Now, if you struggle with pricing, or if you are ready to just create a service that is much more streamlined and will practically sell itself, make sure that you check out the free ingredients for a booked out service that will link on the screen for you now. And thank you so much for watching.